Welcome to Talking STEM, a production of Dr. Calvin Briggs, founder and president of the Southern Center for Broadening Participation in STEM. Today, we are getting into a topic that is just dominating every conversation in education right now, the AI in action, navigating the future of classroom learning. Our sources for this are really very focused. We're pulling directly from the recent 2026 Summit for Alabama STEM Education and Workforce, specifically Dr. Briggs's big AI in action presentation, and also his analysis in the STEM Forward LinkedIn newsletter.
Right. And our mission today is to, cut through some of the noise, the panic, and the hype. We're going to be extracting the key insights on how you balance the innovation, the sheer power of AI with academic integrity. So for all the educators, the administrators listening, this is about how AI can actually be used to hit that ultimate goal.
Student retention and completion.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before we can even get to the solutions, we have to talk about the conflict, right? The ethical, the academic fear that's pushing so many to just ban AI in schools.
That's the only place to start. The core conflict that came up at the summit was this breakdown of integrity. And it's on both sides.
Both sides.
Yeah. You have students asking AI for complete answers, and then you have teachers leaning on it to generate their entire lesson plans.
So it's a closed loop. If everyone is circumventing original work, you end up with what the sources called identical and academic output.
It just completely undermines the whole point of education.
And this leads right to that number one concern from educators, which is the erosion of critical thinking.
Right. The fear is that the student workflow just becomes, type it in, spit it out, turn it in.
With no real engagement.
No engagement at all. You're basically trading deep understanding for a kind of manufactured efficiency.
It's a huge plagiarism concern, obviously. But what really stood out to me from the sources was how this conflict went way beyond academics.
It did. It got into some really serious social and emotional health issues.
Yeah, that part was heavy.
Incredibly heavy. An educator shared a story about a suicide linked to a student who'd formed this really intense, dependent relationship with an AI companion.
Wow.
And that just raises this massive red flag about diminished human interaction, especially for students who might already be isolated.
They described it almost like an addiction, right?
Yeah.
Chasing dopamine hits.
Exactly. Causing people to prefer, and this is a quote, living in their relationships with AI instead of dealing with actual human interaction.
Which is so complex and messy.
Right.
And it's not just struggling students taking these shortcuts. The presentation brought up the University of Alabama in Huntsville. It showed that even high-achieving students, ones who are just overwhelmed, are using AI to generate these, very sophisticated presentations and notes.
They're using it to cope, to manage stress, but the result is what the source calls a slippery slope.
They can deliver the presentation.
They can deliver it, but they have no idea what they're talking about if you push them on any of it. The content's there, but the understanding is just gone.
And trying to police this is becoming almost impossible. The 2026 survey findings were, frankly, alarming. 26% of teenagers said they use ChatGPT for schoolwork.
And that's double the rate from just 2023. So it's exploding. You can ban it, but they're finding ways around it.
And the tools designed to catch them are failing.
Failing spectacularly. Think about this for a second. The AI detection tools that schools are relying on.
Yeah.
They mistook human writing for AI writing 68% of the time.
Wait, 68%, so it's more likely to be wrong than right.
Exactly. It's a coin flip. And the coin is biased against the student.
That's just creating more anxiety,
Yeah.
forcing kids to rewrite assignments in front of their teachers to prove they didn't cheat.
Right. So the policing is broken, which is why you see institutions like Princeton Public Schools just banning ChatGPT outright.
It's the default reaction.
Yeah.
If it's threatening, you just ban it.
You ban it. But the sources are pretty clear that if we just rely on prohibition, we are just repeating history.
Like the fight against cell phones in schools in the 2000s, all that did was create conflict and delay the inevitable.
And this technology is so much more powerful. So the question becomes, how do you pivot?
So how do we...
We have to shift the frame completely. We stop looking at AI as a replacement for the student and start seeing it as a really sophisticated research assistant, or maybe a template.
Okay, but to do that, we need to be clear on the terms, because AI gets thrown around for everything.
That's a great point. Let's just nail down the definition so we're all on the same page.
Perfect.
Okay, so the general definition of AI is pretty simple. Technology that mimics human intelligence. But underneath that, you have machine learning. or ML. That's the system learning patterns from huge amounts of data.
And then the other piece is natural language processing.
Or NLP, yeah. That's specifically about understanding human language. Most of the classroom tools we're talking about, they're really an interaction of all three.
Okay, so with that lens, if we accept this powerful assistant is here to stay, then the big insight from Dr. Briggs is that the human, the student, has to stay in the driver's seat. They have to, quote, ask the right question.
And that's the whole power shift right there. If the goal isn't just to find the answer, but to find the best way to use the tool, then prompting becomes the new critical thinking skill.
That is a huge shift for teachers. Instead of banning the tool, you have to teach students how to ask and writing to get better results.
Exactly. You teach them to generate a first draft, but then the critical thinking is going back and adding criteria.
Like rewrite this for a 10th grade audience or add 3 peer-reviewed sources from the last 2 years.
Yes, you're forcing them to engage with the structure, the audience, the truth of the information, not just blindly copy-pasting.
And that approach admits that, prohibition is a losing game.
The historical parallel is just too strong to ignore. We didn't keep fighting the automobile. Schools didn't ban cars. They created driver's ed. We have to do the same with AI.
But that only works if the foundation is solid. We have to stress this. Students still need the basics.
Absolutely.
If you don't know how to write a sentence or structure an argument, your prompts will be garbage.
It's the classic garbage in, garbage out problem. AI can't fix a core lack of knowledge.
So the takeaway here is we need to build an infrastructure that lets us use AI for what it's good at, instead of just fighting it all the time.
Yes, for utilization and application.
Which brings us to the really necessary shift in focus, tying AI's power directly to actual student success. And the presentation defines success as a kind of equation: advising plus academic engagement plus mentorship plus academic enrichment
Equals retention and graduation.
Right.
And if that's the goal, then AI needs to support the best practices we already know work, like the Complete College America, the CCA, game changer strategies.
Purpose, structure, momentum, and support.
Those are the 4 pillars. They're the gold standard for driving retention. And AI can turbocharge strategies we already use, like proactive advising or building academic maps.
But for an institution to do that, it has to be efficient itself.
And this is where that case study from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC just becomes so powerful.
Okay, yeah, this story was incredible. The CIO needed to do a huge Title IX compliance review.
Right. 20 years of documents.
And when they went to an outside law firm, the quote was $1.5 million.
An insane cost. The kind of thing that just stops a project cold.
But UMBC did something different.
They did. They used their own computer science department, built a custom AI platform for the review, fed it all the documents, and did the entire thing for $3,000.
Hold on. From $1.5 million down to $3,000.
$3,000.
That's not just a good ROI. That's institutional wizardry.
It is. It shows how AI can just demolish these massive, mundane, expensive tasks.
And that efficiency, it's not just about saving money. It trickles down to the students.
It directly translates into better student services. Think about proactive advising. Right now, student data is everywhere. It's siloed. Registration here, financial aid there.
So advisors spend all their time just trying to connect the dots.
They do. But if you democratize that data, put it all into a secure internal ChatGPT model.
A model trained only on that university's data.
Right. Suddenly a student can just ask, what class do I have today? Or how much do I owe on my tuition?
And they get an instant correct answer.
Exactly. Which frees up the advisor from answering 5 emails about logistics. Now they can spend their time on actual mentorship, on helping a student with a real problem. The human touch gets amplified because the admin work is gone.
That's a really powerful way to frame it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pivot to the toolkit, the specific tools for the classroom that can support instruction directly.
For sure. There are tools out there right now that are changing personalized learning. Things like Socrative, Newton, and especially the AI tutor, Conmigo.
Conmigo gives teachers something really unique, right? It provides footprints of a student's work.
Yes. You see the process, not just the final answer. You can see that, Abigail was working on acids and chemical reactions at 8 a.m., but she got stuck right here on step 3.
That's invaluable data.
It is. It lets a teacher use that precious one-on-one time so much more effectively. They know exactly where the friction point is.
And for the teachers themselves, the ones who are just buried in admin work.
There's huge relief there, too. Tools like Otter can, attend a meeting for you, take the notes, even send the follow-up email, all those repetitive tasks that just eat up time.
And that time you get back can be reinvested into academic enrichment.
Which is where the content creation tools come in.
This part is really exciting. Tools like Synthesia and 11 Labs, they let an educator take an old PowerPoint, just a simple script, and turn it into a full multimedia presentation, a video, a podcast in less than 20 minutes, using cloned voices and avatars.
That kind of rapid creation is a game changer. A teacher can reinforce a lesson with a really engaging new resource before the students have even gone home for the day.
That's the real definition of increasing your instructional capacity. You're creating differentiated pathways, getting immediate feedback, and co-designing interactive materials on the fly.
That's all there.
So the message we're really taking away here for you, for the listener, is that AI integration isn't just coming, it's here. And it's incredibly powerful. It demands creativity from educators. You have to be the one to leverage that power, to build the framework for that Synthesia video without letting it replace the foundational skills, like writing a clear sentence.
The bottom line really is that we need the good guys, the advocates in education, to get out ahead of this. They have to be the ones working with administrators to set respectful, ethical policies around this tech. Because if they don't, others will certainly use these tools for the wrong reasons.
And given the speed of it all, I mean, we heard about tech like Notebook LM creating a full podcast from notes and footage in 20 minutes. So how long will it be before institutional advocacy for its proper use moves from just a suggestion to an absolute mandate?
That's the question that should be driving policy decisions everywhere right now. It's challenging all of us to prepare for a future that looks very, very different.
Thank you for joining us for Talking STEM.